Go on, yeah, just a little drop, not too much. That's enough, thank you. No, watch me wait. Thank you. So, Mariam and Freddie, tell me about Fernwood School then.
Well, it's a good school. I mean, we like coming here a lot, and it's different, I think, from other schools because there's a real community about it.
Have you been to other schools?
No, I've only been to Fernwood because I went to Fernwood Junior then Fernwood.
So we've worked our way up from down there.
You came from over there, across the field into this one. And so everybody gathers here, do they, at the start of the morning?
We've got
assembly now.
Oh, what? So what's assembly? How does that work?
Well, we normally have it on Tuesday, but we're having a kind of special one today about prefecting.
Chance of going into assembly, that'll be all right?
Yeah, of course. We'll put our stuff back in.
Put our stuff back, clear up, and let's get in there.
Make sure your tie's sorted out, young man.
OK, Mr. Rowe.
Okay.
Why be a prefect? All right? Not everybody sat in front of me here would like to be a prefect. I know that. Some of you think this isn't for me, and it doesn't have to be for you. You don't have to apply to become a school prefect. But I also know that a vast majority of you sat in front of me do want to become a prefect.
I'm interested in the talk that Mr. Barrett did about prefects. And you seem to respect prefects, do you?
Yeah, I think you do, because there's a lot of them. We were just talking about how other people should react to knowing that you run errands for teachers, but because there's so many prefects, I think there's a kind of respect about all of them because they've earned the privilege, basically.
That's right. I thought that was a good thing about it, that there's a lot of people, I couldn't work out how many, but it sounds like a big proportion of the year group is basically taking on additional responsibility. It's not like being the chosen few, is it? You know?
No.
Formula Schools is a national competition that is organised to look at engineering in a positive way. The main thrust of the competition is that the pupils actually receive a radio-controlled car which is made up on a basic chassis with basic components. The idea is that the pupils then deconstruct that to look at what individual parts can be remodelled, remade, redesigned.
Elliot, just talk us through one of these cars.
Okay.
Explain it to me.
At the beginning, as James and Ollie said, we get the wooden model of the car, and then we create a chassis which will fit that size.
Yeah.
And then we will make our own tyres, which are made of silicone, and rims. And then everything you see there has been made, apart from obviously the batteries and the motors.
You fancy being engineers when you finish?
Yeah.
You're going into sort of
Something
careers in
to do
that?
with
Yeah.
engineering.
What are you going to do then?
Something to do with cars. I really like cars.
Yeah.
And, well, doing Formula School has just got me started and closer to that job in cars.
Yeah, so you think this is the career for you?
Yeah.
Now, I've got to ask this. Is it only lads who do this?
No.
In last year there was a girl doing it.
A girl.
girl.
We found one, did we?
No, there were two.
Two girls. Two girls. It's getting better all the time. Learn to learn. What do you know about that?
Well, we don't know much really. We didn't do it in year 7, so it's a learning experience for us as well.
Oh, that'll be good.
Part of the new curriculum, I think.
For the...
For year 7 and 8.
Key Stage 3?
Yeah.
And do you know what they do? Got any idea what they do?
I think it's learning how to learn, really.
And do you think that's necessary? I mean...
Oh, I don't know, it could be.
Yeah.
These guys are doing a learn-to-learn project that focuses on developing the pupils' independent enquiry skills. So what they're currently doing is they've got a challenge. They've got to arrange a trip for a 16-year-old that's just passed their exams to go to a music festival. Now, as part of that, they've got to reason out all the potential hazards and all the planning that they've got to do.
The total price of that is around, well, if you think about it, there's £20 for food and £1.60. So that's around 20.
Let's say 25 in total for any extras, because you can have the
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got a squad of learning to learn teachers?
Yeah, we've got a year 7 and a year 8 team currently, who are obviously specialists from other areas.
And how many are in the squad?
There's about 16 over the 2 year group.
And they have other jobs as well?
Yes,
so
they're
this
obviously
is trying to integrate the
cross-curricular
within
links
the whole thing?
Yeah.
Successful?
Very successful so far. We're starting to embed it and start to spread out a bit more is where we're at the moment. But this is the end of the 2nd year, so the year 8s are just about to finish, and we're starting to see some developments in their learning, which is encouraging.
We're nearly at the top of the school, ready for languages. You like languages?
Yeah, I really enjoy languages. We've got really good teachers that are passionate, enthusiastic about what they do.
Oh yeah, and what's your favourite? What do you like? French?
Yeah, I do German.
German?
Yeah.
So is that a choice?
Yeah.
An option?
Mon anniversaire, c'est le
19 novembre.
Ryan, est-ce que tu as une question pour une autre personne?
Darwin. Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire?
Mon anniversaire, c'est le 23 décembre.
Excellent, très 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 bien fait. C'est très compliqué ou c'est facile? C'est facile, alors on peut continuer. Alors il y a les personnes célèbres. Alors nous avons Lady Gaga, nous avons Bart Simpson. They started with French in September, so they've done a few months already, and then next year they'll start with the German. So it's giving them a good grounding so that they can, not only the language itself, but the language learning skills, they can then apply next year as well.
What are you trying to get over? I mean, we saw a bit of structured teaching there. What were you really trying?
The main thing is just it's reinforcement all the time, because you know the French in particular, it looks very different how it's written to how it sounds. So the pronunciation for some students can be quite tricky. So just giving them lots of practice, trying to make it a bit fun, get the celebrities up on the board, you know, to extra bit of motivation. But it's just so that they get the vocabulary in their heads and they can retain it. Alors, avec une ou une partenaire, quelle est la date de ton anniversaire? Mon anniversaire, c'est le... Ah, tu es Wayne Rooney, tu es Alexandra Burke. D'accord? C'est clair? Oui. Excellent. Alors, allez-y.
So Ruth, you're in charge of languages, is that right?
Yes, I am, yeah.
What's the emphasis in Fernwood on languages? What are you trying to achieve?
Well, languages here is supported really strongly by senior team, and so it's compulsory for most kids to do a language, which is very unusual these days.
It is, yeah.
I meet a lot of teachers from other schools who find they're struggling to get people to opt into languages. Whereas here, the whole ability range does it, and we still get 80+% A's to C's.
It's interesting, isn't it? I've been talking to some of the teenagers who tell me that what happens is their confidence is high, they feel good about languages, they believe they can do it, and you're saying that delivers in terms of results as well.
Well, we start off completely in target language from the word go. Once we've discussed how you learn language, you learn your mother tongue by listening and copying and doing it and making mistakes. So the whole culture here is that you have a go, you take risks, and you make mistakes, and that's fine because you do that in English too.
Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire? Le 25 septembre. Bonne idée. Alexandra.
So tell me a little bit about this Peace Prize then, the Fernwood Peace Prize.
Well, when we're in Year 9, we go to the Holocaust Centre, which is that one there outside Newark.
Newark in Nottinghamshire, yeah.
Just up the road, and it's a memorial centre for all the people that died in the Holocaust. And I think it's mainly based around children.
So having been to the centre, you all came back and did a response. Some did art, some did writing.
Our main topic was about kind of genocide and racism, so we were looking at examples from all over the world and kind of focusing in on how to prevent them again.
Who's in charge of all this? Is it a teacher, a group of teachers?
Yeah, Mr. Bowen, I think he's just through there, so go and see him.
We'll go and see him, see some more about it. Let's have a wander through them. Well, I'm fascinated.
Shalom, and kind of it inspired us to make something that would symbolise what happened to the Jews and how sad it was, and kind of the whole tutor group came together to make
effort for all of us, and we just use a bit of technology to help it get along.
They spend a day looking at the exhibits. They have the opportunity as well to meet a survivor of the Holocaust who tells their story, and that's always a very powerful experience for them. And when we come back to school, I launch what we call rather grandly the Fernwood Peace Prize, which we award for the most creative responses to the day.
Do you like science?
Yeah, I really like science. I'm hoping to be a medic when I'm older.
Yeah, well, you both were talking about that, weren't you? So what were you doing in the science block?
Well, we're hoping to see a dissection, actually. It might be a bit dodgy with the squeamishness, but yeah, it should be all right.
I could faint. Let's go and have a look.
What do we call blood vessels that carry blood away from your heart? I remember that. Arteries, brilliant. So this one here, this big thick one, is an artery. It's carrying blood away from the heart. What's the other sort then? Arteries and veins and they carry them into the heart. Here's a bit of an icky bit. Look away if you're feeling squeamish. I'm going to stick my finger up the tube and it should come out at the top. Are you all right, Chelsea? Yeah? So I'm trying to put my finger into the ventricle and follow the path that the blood would go. Oh, there we go. Blue glove sticking out the end. That's the blood. It's going to come in through these little flappy holes at the top into this very thin chamber. It gets let through to the bottom and then it gets pushed out of that tube and off to the lungs. I think for the pupils to actually see something that they wouldn't normally be able to see and actually visualise what's going on inside their bodies is really important because it's something that's so vital to life, obviously, that it helps them to actually picture what's going on.
And you're part of this Learning to Learn squad?
I am, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Well, how's that affect you?
I found it really helps with the kind of thinking about how pupils learn, that we can sometimes lose track of how they learn. We're so busy teaching the content that Learn to Learn's given me a real opportunity to think about thinking skills and team working skills.
And do you think that's going to grow and develop? And
Definitely. I think as the pupils go up the school, they'll use their skills more and more.
They're going to see Mr. Sidry, chemistry teacher, and I have Mr. Sidry for chemistry, and I have to say he's really enthusiastic.
Yeah.
He really gets you involved in the lessons. He just inspires you to do really well. And every kid loves him as a teacher.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Let's go and see what he's really like then. Thank you. On the way in?
Iron, cobalt.
Cobalt and nickel. The three, iron, cobalt and nickel, deserves having a little thwack with the air bazooka. And done one more so the hair flows. Excellent. Right, well done. Now, next, tell me, what else is quirky about the transition metals that you have done a little bit of? Yes?
They form brightly coloured compounds.
Excellent. And pure coincidence, in that tray there, we have some coloured compounds. Look, you don't get these sorts of colours, right, with like group 1, salt, sodium chloride, lithium chloride. These are pretty wacky. We could use these to make oil paints. Rembrandt, the whole business, they used to grind up all sorts of pigments. A lot of the colours that we use in the dye industry and paints are the transition metal elements. My teaching technique, my style, is fairly energy demanding. It's just because I think the enthusiasm comes out, and I think that can be contagious. It's difficult sometimes to maintain that. And it does depend on your pupils. I mean, if you can run with a good class and really go for it, and there's nothing to pull away from the enthusiasm. If you're battling a little bit with discipline, that tends to take away a little bit. But I still tend to be a fairly enthusiastic about the science, and I think it does rub off a bit.
I think we should finish with a little blast on the bazooka for these two.
Yeah. Here we go. And yes, on for the road.
Well, what a day. Freddie and Mariam have shown me around Fernwood School, and I've got a kaleidoscope of experiences. It's that kaleidoscope that fills a child's future at Fernwood School. Teachers who take them places, show them things, bring people to meet with them. The school goes that extra mile. It takes youngsters on educational visits that make sense to them, and it brings them back into the world of the classroom to take them further through deepening experiences and real opportunity. Oh, it's lovely to meet you. Thanks ever so much.
No
Sorry
problem.
to interrupt.
No
All right.
problem.
Get on.
Yes.
Get on.